Hello everyone, in this video I am going to paint up an M54 truck, and this is the Vietnam version. And in this video I'm just going to do a basic paint, right? This is priming, putting down the core colors, and doing a pin wash. So I'm bringing it up to a particular, let's say, gaming table standard. At the end of this video I would happily use this on my gaming table. I will make another video where I weather this vehicle up, add some rust, some mud, some scrapes, things like that to make it look a little bit more worn. So let's get started. The first step is the prime step, of course, and I like to use the Mr. Surface 1000 as my primer. I mix it up with a little thinner. I mix it directly in my airbrush, right in the cup, and I prime the model. And so this will be quick. For this step, I call it the dark base coat step. And I am going to mix up a post-World War II olive drab, which I use and really like for my Vietnam vehicles. And I'm going to put a lot of black into it. So my goal here is to paint this model in a really, really dark green. This is going to give me my shadow layer for when I highlight it later on. So here it is, just mixing up the green and black right in the cup of the airbrush and spraying the entire model. For the next step, I'm going to use the exact same colors, just in a different ratio. I'm going to use about 80% green to about 20% black. So what I'm looking for here is a lighter green layer to go over the dark base. This is how I build up the shading in the model. So again, 80%, maybe 85% green to 20 to 15% black. I really just eyeball the color. I mix it up right in the airbrush pot, and I get a color I like, and then I just spray the models. Now the key here is that you don't want to spray it as much as you did with the previous coating. You want to leave some of the dark spots and just, I would say, a majority of highlights, right? You want to paint a majority of the surfaces this color, but anything that is in the dark recesses, you want to leave to that dark green color. Again, you're trying to create shadow, and so you shouldn't cover up 100% of the layer that you just did. Hopefully, when you're watching the video here and seeing the results at the end of this step, you'll see how it works. For the next step, I call it the core color step. This is where I use the base color, right? That post World War II olive drab color straight out of the bottle. I don't add any black to it. And here I'm looking to do the same thing I did in the last step, except I'm going to leave a little bit more of the darker areas. So we're blending from a really dark to a kind of dark to the base color. And so you just get an eye for this, and you hit all the big flat surfaces first and work your way towards the corners, towards the shadows. And you'll see it happen as you airbrush. You'll get a good feel for it. I think this is the most enjoyable part of painting here is airbrushing the layers over each other and developing those shadows, and you get to see it live. And this is a lot of fun. So this is the base color, and hopefully you can see how the layers are building. Once we're done with the base coat, or the core coat, the core color that I've used, I'm now going to mix up the core color, that olive drab, with some yellow to highlight it. So I'm looking for a lighter green. And then I'm going to go over the vehicle, hitting all the highlights and paying attention to all the big flat surfaces, the hood, the top of the fenders, the top of the cab. All these would be sun bleached, and so therefore a lighter color than the rest of the vehicle itself. So any of the top levels of the particular vehicle is where I'm going to focus my attention to. Again, you'll get a feel for this. You'll see as you're painting, as it develops, you'll be able to get an eye for this. The more you do this, the better you get at it. But this, again, is a lot of fun. Putting on the highlights really brings out the vehicle and makes it stand out. You do want to leave all the dark spots and all the shading that you created before and just hit those highlights. At this stage, I paint the tires. And I use a particular color that's called rubber and tires. It's not a black, it's not quite a gray. It's a somewhere in between, but it really turns out nice. I like this color just as a base tire color. So here, I'm just painting the tires. At this stage, I have the model pretty much painted. I have all my gradations of green on it. It's been highlighted. The tires are done. It's starting to look pretty darn good. At this stage, I coat it with a gloss varnish. This is to lock in the work I've done. This is to protect the model for the next stage, which is the pin wash. Now, I didn't show you the details of what I did, but I did paint the windows. And I just painted them a mid-tone gray color for now. When I do the weathering, I'm going to make the windows stand out. But for now, I just made them gray. And I'm sealing the entire model in a gloss varnish to protect it. For this step, I do a pin wash. I use the enamel wash from Ammo of MiG that is dark brown for green vehicles. It's designed to be a pin wash, and it does a great job. You just want to load your brush with this paint and touch it in the crevices and cracks, and it will flow with capillary action into all the crevices and cracks of the vehicle. This stage is a lot of fun to do. It can get tedious sometimes, but it really changes the dynamic of the model. It gives it your first level of weathering, and it really deepens the shadows, and it makes a lot of details really pop. So put your wash on at this stage, and then you're almost done with the basics. The final step is a cleanup step, and this is where you're taking a soft, dry brush and you're simply cleaning up extra pin wash. Places where the pin wash got that you do want the pin wash to be there, you just take the soft brush and basically just wipe it away. Now don't do this right away after the pin wash. Wait about 30 minutes, maybe an hour, so that the pin wash is dried a little bit, and then it's a lot easier to clean up. Other than that, I put a dual coat on the model at the end. And here we have the final result. After the dual coat, everything comes together. Here in the picture, hopefully you can see the dark gradations to the lighter greens. You can see some of the highlights, especially on the door, the top of the hood. You can see the color of the tires. And I think it really pops for basically airbrushing 3 base coats over it and then doing a pin wash. I think it turned out pretty nice. Now in the next video, I will do some weathering. So in that one, we'll take it to the next level. But certainly, if you painted up your vehicle just like this, you would probably be extremely proud to put it on the table and put some figs to it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you at the next video.